A growl sensed in the cave of the back is telling the mountain not to move. Opens a claw, now that we dare to listen. Stirs a tide of rising hairs, rising in waves, to claim each their edge of silver, their root of blood. Stirs the creature. Above on the shoulder, the villager drops his pitcher, opens the door of his father's house, looks out on the tender, slender spine, the frailer bridge of ropes. Are the knots not too tight to bear the rain the bear will bring? But he knows it is ending. We know the water is coming, and soon the mountain will be washed to the sea. A similar sense of impending peril, perhaps, in this one. As wolf or bear. Beneath the threat of forest teeth, I knelt and offered up a solid prayer to all that rules the mossy heath to make me wolf or bear. As you clothe the bone-naked stone, give me fur. As you bite into the scar, give me strength of jaw. All alone amongst the trees and far must I a sanctum seek. The roar and howl of the blizzard wind become mine, the slice of scarp within my claw, and all my strength combine. Still, I entered into shadow, as a thin misty white, devoid of weight, subject to any breezes blow and the compromised light. Against a stand of trees, my passing seemed a fickle thing. The swell of ground, a push away, my voice, an asking silence for a sound. But also, from a breaking stave, I gained a heavy mass, and with the fall of leaves to a wet and golden grave, I felt eternal soul. And by the song of unseen birds, I learnt a heartiness of breathy speech, echoed from the ash and elm, heard praise, sang psalm, told to reach, as the same rooted forest will, to a depth below, to space of height and air, in the grip and slash of lightning made still, and thrilling hair. And so a sanctum found. The heath I thought left behind, the lost blizzard wind, the bite of rock, the lone beneath, the slicing of my mind, softened, tendered by all the trees had gave away. And then the river found, wandering slowly on my knees, I bent to tooth and hound. There's something of acceptance in that one, I think. A kind of recognition of what is to come, which may not be pleasant, but finding a peace with it. Another kind of acceptance in this one which is a tale of animal transformation. When someone you love begins to act in a way that seems not themselves, there's not much you can do but love them more. And maybe think that maybe it's not a case of them being not themselves. Maybe it's a case of them being more of themselves than you ever knew. She opened her mouth and came out bare, black in a rush and grisly, claws in her eyes and covered in hair. Don't play dead, I said. She's too clever for that. She'll know. Don't run. She's too fast. I'm too slow. Nothing for it, I said, but to let my flesh swell, to sweat hair, give myself muzzle, claw, roar, and become bare as well. Boom! 2 heavyweights now. We shook the mountain, stripped the trees, shook the forest, scared the bees, did what we do in the woods, very bare, gorged ourselves the summer long on roots, bugs, berries, nuts, honey, whatever was there. Blood on our muzzles, true, on our claws, on our teeth. Still wondered, if we're bare, what are we beneath? We are belly, she said. We are hunger. We are grab what you can when you can, both hands. I said, no, I don't understand this any longer. Bears are solitary creatures, hunt alone. We're finding food for one another. Something's wrong. I don't think we're as bare as we're pretending. She thrust her muzzle at the sky. Summer was ending and cold was almost upon us. Into the cave, hunker down, sleep and pray the bare Lord our bare skin to keep. I woke up early. Still was dark, feeling cold, feeling sore, feeling if her teeth had made a mark, feeling smooth. Oh, bare Lord, all my hair was shed away. She will eat me whole when she wakes on a springy day. When we'd settled down, I should not have held her quite so close, should not have wrapped myself around her so my arm was trapped. And I'd no teeth now to tear it loose, no choice but to lay there, bare beside her bear. At least her warmth and shaggy pelt would have some use and keep me alive. While we slept, I listened to her gentle bare wheezing as the summer crept into the cave once more. I must have dozed, woke, found myself free, made a dash for the door, realized then the cave was empty. Bare skin everywhere, scattered, and I was alone. That mattered. I turned to the light, blinked, stepped into the warm sunshine, saw bare skin, golden, gleaming, inked, and she sat there, quiet, bare, watching the blossom float on the air, watching the birds arriving from the south. She sat there, quiet, bare, turned to me, opened her mouth. There's perhaps a continuance of that poem later on. You may hear it. That was bare. And then to go elsewhere, this one, Wolf Moon. Her silver eye is glaring at me. I feel my teeth glint. I feel my heart blister. And now there is danger. The woman runs. She runs in joy. She dances, white pony in the forest arms, glittering birch, trailing glance across her shoulder. I have 2 visions. Silver face in the forest, silver fire in the sky. One will want me wild, one will hope me wise. Both call me to the blood tide. She opened her mouth and came out wolf. Blood in her fur and below her tail, blood on her fur, blood in her cold wail across the snow, blood on the snow, blood on her claw, blood on the trees all around, blood in her wet, dripping, more blood in her eye, blood in her growl, blood dripping through the sky, sprayed from the blood of her overarching howl. "This is my blood," she said. "This is my hood. This is my blood, golden red. This is my blood, and it is good." Upon my toes, upon my pads, I knelt all four, following her bloody tail from its beginning, following the bloody spoor to its bloody end, red fur swimming in the spit of both, and I her ready friend, teeth at my throat, stink catching at my throat, teeth snatching bits of my fur, live wolf snatches snarl for snarl, and nicked teeth clashing still, the writhing dance biting at the air as blood begins to thicken. Because red fur is too quick, no longer where the teeth close on the nothing underneath. I follow as she steps upon its crust, poor prints on the heavy lake, her quickened pace, leaping through the ripened rust of leaves of blood and drops of blood, vicious howls skimming over crimson mud, red bloody sun bleeding to the south, red lolling tongue, silver glistens, hungry, opening her mouth. See if I can introduce you to my co-star this evening. Here she is. My cat of gold, little Miss Minnie, who is meowing and meowing, though she's eaten already. She disappeared some weeks ago. Disappeared, and we were worried about her returning. So perhaps this one could be about her lost out in the wild, called Bear in the Rain. I'm wearing this pelt of rain, stepping bare into this downfall. Drops bounce off, their sting like spitting teeth. Heavy thud of water burrows deep. A winter cave goes to sleep under fat, and I carry it, a coat made of plummet and splash. When it awakens, it'll drip, but for now, it sends stern ripples into gut. Heart is a fire going out. Bear in a drench. Claws balancing raindrops. Hair hanging like so many stalactites. I clear a space in the downpour by roaring my name. Grateful for the gift on my tongue. The rain knows my shape. Puddles like a shadow, clings to my fur, recognizes I fell first. How are we doing? She's lovely, isn't she, Kat? Quite assertive in her ways, but she's now settled quietly on the sofa, accepting that I'm not going to feed her until I'm done. That's second helping, second dinner. She's already had first dinner. This one was written after a solstice festival. I think one of the oldest of our cult animals is the bear. One of the oldest of our goddesses is the bear, and the oldest object of our worship is Goddess Bear. The hair on her tears may have given it away, that and her teeth around my head. I was dripping from my claws. I was dead beneath the snow. I was skull to the bone. Just deep enough to scar my laughter, just firm enough to tear, surrender. Bleeding now, surrender just wants to go home. I was busy feeling cold beneath my fur. I was tired from another year. I felt my strength given up to fear when she came, crying hairy tears. The way she licked her teeth was not to form excuses. "Rake my pelt," she said. "I have an itch." My claw on her skin split my own. My hugging her burst my spine out. My bite was at my own throat and opened my blood to her thirst. She was the first to feed on me so. And where I am to go from here, I may never know. And she turned to me, said, "Your turn now. Open your mouth. Do no worse." And I did, and I retched, and I stretched my neck, and I came out hoarse, and I was running then. I was flailing out legs into gallop, into need, into night, into arrow flight. I was running into birth. I was gunning it for everything it was worth. I was grinding over ground. I was clawing earth beneath my hooves. I was flinging dirt. I was making sandstorms. I was making moves. I was stretched like a skin drawn back from a cock erect. I was streaming out behind like a fire burning for a main. Comets tearing fire from my neck. I was vomited from the wind like I could leave it all behind, like I could leave the fire burning in my prints in the wake, breaking into sweat, into flood, like lava would extinguish or the flame stampeding in my blood, like the need within my muscle could be ridden to extinction and could run and run and run and run and run, like I could steam away in evaporation, smoke off the bones, and my white gleaming cold ribs might fall around the still burning arrowhead within. Eye and nostril flared, teeth bared, vein like a rupture, and the mad foam frothing from my teeth. Hooves softened by exhaustion, bruised, pouring at the distant ground beneath, reeling like a hurricane and blistered all within. I turned, saw her standing still, with a blanket to throw across my back. I shied. Still I took it, over shoulders, over neck, head bowed, with a fierce snort of fire breath, run out, that wildfire leaping over grass, torching everything, was the only thing I had left. "Breathe gently," she said. "Don't let it flare. Let the air sit for a moment," she said, holding its own. She turned to me, said, "Your turn now." She is my sister, and from her all tribes flow. Womb out of womb, out of womb. Was it I, her brother, in whom the blood first stopped? Out of womb, into dam, into building headwaters. She pitied me, spared me from our mother's wrath, taught me spear play, how to spill. In bed, in battle, in hunt, soon her sons were running riot, and I, restraint, sat my feet in a lap of a girl who could hold her own. Men, the new unknown, looking for all from their mother, looking to rule their wife. We who were not here before, unreleased till blood is taken from us, exiled from the river, my sister, have pity, have pity. The river runs in tides, my brother, yearly floods, summer droughts, into the sea. I feel a splash upon my lip, my breast and belly, rolling down my thigh, into my daughters, into my sons. It rolls there too in seeming, found and round, but sometimes into silence of the blood, sometimes into stillness of the breath, into tides, into yearly floods, into summer droughts, and you, the new unknown. Rest your feet in her lap, brother. She can hold her own. A creating roar goes through your womb, brother. Gain release through the feathered flames across your back. Your hand slack will have my pity. My pity. That was a poem called Math and Don, and the speakers were Math of Methonwy, a wizard prince in the Mabinogion, but before that probably held as a god, and his sister, the goddess Don, known in Ireland as Danu, a mother goddess, a creating goddess, a goddess of the earth. Bear child. Fierce child dressed in fur, with claw and roar, but still in your baby hair. Putting on the fat for the future, putting on the size, putting on the fierce, eat you look in the eyes. Hooked fingers your whole life, rah, in the throat. Huddled on all fours under a thick, heavy coat. Becoming Big Bear in a fierce, eat-you world. The cave door looms wide on a frostbit mountainside. That was a child just beginning life. This one touches back to the warrior culture of the berserker, wearing the bear shirt, the mighty warrior fighting for his king. And it talks of a funeral, the king being dead, and his loving Fane takes him to the fires to burn. Bear shirt. Make the mountain moody shadow bow its head. Bring the oak and the tall ash, touches of sky, to the well's edge. Watch the aurochs, heavy-horned, head low, stamp its last steps across the moor. The bare-skinned man makes a resting place, spreads his cargo, his king beloved, on holy bier, broad and strong. His man's arms echo, empty now. He has been, brave words spoken, and will not come. But care remains, care and memory, much in thought, as ravens inked on much-kissed shoulders. The road to be walked, the work to be done, to be taken alone. Odin, my way mate I give to your guiding, gather him home. What was said, secret whispers, to silent hearing and still lips, beard brushing, beard kissing, safe kept and resounding soft on the air. What was said will be forever there. Then the sky moved and became fur, with what had been stars dancing on the end of each hair. And there was a void then, ranged all about with teeth, caught with thick sharpness and bloodstains. And all the inner warmth poured out from there with smells of meat and fishbone, honey, and an incipient roar. And the weight to crush me held by a thrumming musculature, lift that could place the world on a high shelf, leave it for the right time to come. Claws, many of them, and each a world sorrow, more felt by some than others, moved by the shift of her endless folded boat. I, the bear's fodder, or else her gift. How are we doing out there? You can hear the cat getting more insistent for her second helping. And my brother's wandered through. Welcome to. Oh, cat, thank you. The cat does play along well, doesn't she? Yeah, she's I've only written one poem about Minnie, and that was when she was missing, and it was about it was about a poo she had left under the sofa that I didn't want to tidy up until she was back, just in case. If you remember back to one of the earlier poems, one called Bear, describes two of them, two bears in the cave, hibernating, asleep through the winter. And I think this one is another view, another perspective on that same period, called Bear Sleeping. There. When you were lost to the world, I saw. What can I say I saw? With all your blades asleep, and I, the thing you'd fallen on, still. I do not know what your absence showed through your presence so. It was the first breath, perhaps, without the woe. It was the first heartbeat, sounding loud and upon its own. It was the dawn God had always wanted, and you had never known. Interloper I. catching a glimpse of such a creation, pure, sure head on my uncertain shoulders. When you woke, so many months after, saw me silent, still, dressed in awe, such a flash across my face. It's been a while, but I do remember the beauty to be seen when you sleep beside someone and you watch them sleep and see their face just free of all care. This one is a bit more turbulent and speaks of a time of catharsis, of a breaking down into tremors and shakes. And it's called Bear Tremors. When a bear shakes and the world is still, he is held. There is no tremor in the ground, no breaking of rock, his gut still heaving. Mouth held wide as it will go, the roar will deafen, teeth cower as it passes. Claws are shying. Hair peels back like a scream wind, shakes the air, shakes the sun, still. He is held. Because the world is a shaggy thing. Our answer is to remain bare. Spring rain brings the salmon leaping. There goes my bear-like brother, who is even more reclusive than I at the moment. I hope he doesn't feel too exposed to be live on Facebook. I adore. Hello. I miss the beard too already, and it's only been gone a day. So it took some while to prepare to lose it, and it might be a sign that, yeah, I'm about to come out to the world and be ready to audition and go for jobs again. But here we go with this one about our shagginess, called bearskin. What do you reckon? Is Minnie getting too assertive? Is she getting too loud? Should I find a way of getting her some more food? We'll see how we do after this one, then maybe I'll rush across and feed her. This is called Bearskin. Laying himself down on my floor like a rug, skin underneath, claws cock soft, teeth hard as spit. He's left me his tongue. His eyes follow my hand on my body, my buttons falling. He knows how hairy I am in my dreams, and his tongue in my hand makes for excellent grooming. Though it stung me once, the bee in his breath. I've taken to wearing him, giving my haunches the swing and crush sometimes needed. Laying himself down under my feet, between my toes, under my thighs. I keep his teeth close to my tongue. One day, he came to my door, skinless, covered by my hand. He took himself up from the floor. I invited him in then. And going back to those two bears in their cave over the winter. Love in a bear's nest. With you, I would use my bare claw, tracing your skin with the tip, pressing dimples, never piercing, pockets for little lakes of sweat, breaking through only in your mind or desire. Perhaps you would take a whole claw in your hands, filled a smooth and ridge, unyielding, glisten with your spit, and stroke it, blunt and ribbed, into some crevice you carry. And for you, I would use my bare teeth around your throat, your shoulder, rasping on a collarbone you choose, and taking in your head. There will be hot breath then, can you take it in? This the only way to reach my bare tongue. And you will have my bare paw, enclosing, drawing you when ready, in immense embrace. Forest hair dense with earth, your bare skin, clothes in tatters, bright where the light hits, but always holding mighty shadow. And I shall smell you like a bear, swallowing, gulping nostrils, caves to fall into, everything taken. Perhaps your thighs alone will save you. And you will have my bare roar, shake you, bring you to your deepest shudder, split your answer from you as thunder striding in the world, as mountain standing in the sky, as tempest bursting through the door, as ocean spilling gently off the edges of the bed and to the floor. And shaggy, smooth, tender, wild being that you are, will pull your claw marks from my back, your tooth marks from my breast, catch my matted tears upon your tongue, and see me as crumpled, human, awakening. How are you doing? Thank you for joining me and being with me this long. It's an extended version. I've got maybe half a dozen more I'd like to read to you. Though, of course, don't feel obliged to hang around if you've got things to do. The video of this will be on my timeline afterwards if you want to listen back to any. And I'm not sure how long it will be before I feel able to do some again, so I'll do these now. And hopefully you'll enjoy. This is called Bear Mother. Bear now has more bones than she can carry, cub still in her arms. The creak of trees in her legs, in her back, claws worn to the pad. She wants to lie down, become a mountain, to let autumnal flesh drop, teeth roll away, to lay her head upon her mother's soft swell. Look, child, there is honey in the high tree, fish in the stream, ants underneath the heavy beam. Run, climb, swim. Lips on her ancient gum, tongue on her nose. Snuffle of a child old enough to know opens up to a last roar. Go! Live! As long as you can. I have no more power. Nor do I, child. I will take the last you have. Your cub will keep the bit you gave. And then she is gone. Staying with the mother bear, the parent bear. This is called Bear Taught. The child wandering in the woods is my child. No matter that they have the arms of a bear, bare teeth stronger than a moon shard, roll the earth beneath them as they move. They fit around a bullet just as well. I first shed my fur for them. They licked the blood from my mouth, the honey too. No matter that the forest feeds upon all they leave, their bed still warm, the sharpened claw. Hunger has a way of making claims. Bear howls in the wood, imitating wolf, imitating child. Mountain answers back. Still a long way to the winter cave. I am there, child, wandering, no matter. Lessons learnt in wilderness were the one time only. Come again. Hunter. Alone and seen from afar in the well-fed forest, I am a bear. But in the hungry town, fat falls off. Hidden in the crowd, I come at you as wolf. This next one, I remember seeking to write something about that following presence, that persistent urge to write, to explore, to express, to be. Feeling somehow not of me, but with me. And in this one, I dressed her as a bear, like a bear. She walks beside me like a bear, soft on her pads. No one hears. Gentle click of claws on stone. There's a drizzle from her pink teeth, tender gums, overhanging lip, not a sneer. Nothing so strong needs make such a comment. But this close to everything that tears, you might want to laugh or judge it dear. The breath upon my right side is sheer enough to take my skin, a giddy heat. There's no air left for me to breathe, so I face away to my cold left side. Which may be why, when they say, "This will kill you," I don't believe. Besides, they never say. They're more blind to her than I. But I take the scraps they leave. And she needs feeding, like a bear. Coming towards the end now. 1, 2, 3 to read before I close. Still light outside. I thought it might have grown dark by the time we finished. Still here in my cave of a room. This one's called The Maid. She puts a bowl full of steaming punch on a squat table in reach of his heel. Cuts a bob, turns, asks, "Will that be all?" But for me, his guest, his hand would send her on his way. Across his lap, perhaps. Or as he's shown before, surrendering her thigh to his fist. He scolds a go, but I growl a "Come here, please, if you will." I can smell a shiver from her as I draw my claw down her back, feel the fabric part and the fur spring into life, till the white and the black falls away, and another monstrous bare head, scraping like mine the low beams, looks around with a fierce dribbling stare, and drools with a hibernation's hunger. The floor can hardly hold our weight. She said, "Bring me something. Bring me empty hands. It is enough." I gave myself out of female self. Math out of female math. It felt too much. But where nothing was before, my sister Dawn matched me with another day and night. Math at Mathonwy, Wizard Prince of Gwyneth. Speaking of his mother and his sister. This is my last, and in a way jumps back to the very first, written 6 years ago. This one was written this year, because it goes back to that sense of being under the earth, waiting to move, waiting for the spring to come again, waiting for the snow to melt, waiting to get back involved in the world. The bear in hibernation, the bare pre-dawn. Other than hungry, what should I do? There is nothing out there yet full enough to eat. Moon's feeling lean, then bloated, unfed belly. Mine's a sling to catch a child in. Lying on sores, still haven't tested the muscle strength in this new year. Envious of the flower pulled up by the sun, jealous of the fish cupped in her hands. My God is in my marrow and my blood, and she's still sleeping. Practice my eyes in the dark. Imagine my claws, sharp as they are. Let my teeth meet once, just for show. Soon it will be stirring, all this mountainside, and life will tumble down. I will catch it like a salmon, taste it like the bees dripping, every hair justified. And maybe never need to sleep again.